Ladies and gentlemen, what is going on, everybody? There have been a lot of headlines in the last night, and we got to talk about them really quickly. So let's go over them. Starting off, number one in the MLB, the Houston Astros are your 2024 AL West champs for 4 times in a row. That's the way I like to see it, baby. We are back, and it took us a little bit to get going this year, but eventually we caught on, and we are now the AL West champs. However, another headline in the MLB is that the San Diego Padres have clinched their ticket to the postseason, so they will at least be one of the wild card teams of the playoffs. Braves are now 1 game back from the wild card. If they beat the Nets tonight, then they will be tied, and if they beat them tomorrow, then of course they will be in the wild card race. However, those are the headlines from last night, just in the MLB. Nothing else we need to talk about. We got some games to react to today in the Big Ten that happened this weekend. So let's go ahead and do that right now as we react to these games. Alright, you guys know how we do this. Starting off, of course, on Friday night is Illinois going into Nebraska. This game was so much fun. An overtime game. Dylan Raiola in Nebraska just couldn't get it done. I guess that is kind of the downsides of having a freshman quarterback, is that you can't get it done in crunch time right now. However, when I'm looking at this game, I was not able to watch a ton of this game because I was doing sideline stuff for high school football. But with that said, Illinois, they played really well. They obviously played well on defense. They didn't score a whole lot in each quarter, but they played good enough on defense to hold Nebraska in the second quarter and then in overtime there on that final drive. And Illinois gets the job done on the road in Nebraska in what was a fun game on Friday night. Marshall at Ohio State. Ohio State wide receiver University, obviously wearing the Chris Olave jersey, got the job done at home. I had no worries about Ohio State. It took them a little bit to get going. Don't get me wrong. At the end of the first quarter, I was a little worried. I was keeping up with that game, and I was like, man, Ohio State is not looking good. But obviously, second quarter, they turned it on and got the job done there, to say the least. Kent State at Penn State. Penn State having no issue with the Kent State Golden Eagles as they got the job done 56-0. Again, another one of those games where I was like, hey, Penn State should have this one in the bag, but you never know. Obviously, with them losing to Bowling Green, does not help. However, they got the job done at home. Now, moving on to the game of the week in the Big Ten here. USC going into the Big House and going into Michigan. This was a fun game. Miller Moss didn't play all that bad, of course. Obviously, USC's defense was the problem there at the end of that last drive where they kicked the game-winning field goal and won the game and got the job done for Michigan. It was all about the run game. The run game was on point against USC in this matchup, and they got the job done, to say the least there. I was expecting USC to full on just blow Michigan out. I thought Michigan were frauds. Obviously, they proved me wrong on that one, and got the job done at home, to say the least. UCLA at LSU. I would save that one for SEC reactions. However, when it comes to UCLA, you're obviously not going to beat an SEC powerhouse school. That is how I see that one, and I will also elaborate more on that in tomorrow's SEC reactions video as well. Charlotte going into Indiana. I thought this game was going to be a very upsettable game for the Hoosiers. However, they proved me wrong. They're 4-0 now on the year. They're looking hot right now. Charlotte obviously struggling, off to a 1-3 start. The offense for Indiana is cooking right now. That quarterback, Roque, is really dang good for the Indiana Hoosiers as they get the job done at home, to say the least, against Charlotte, and they were definitely expected to, so I'm glad they did that for that one. Villanova at Maryland in a game where I thought was going to be tricky for Maryland. It definitely was. Villanova obviously falling to the Terrapins, but with that said, I think the Terrapins offense is looking pretty good. They did have a struggled start, or one of those games they did struggle a little bit, and that is where that one loss obviously happened. But with that said, they got the job done there at home against Villanova in that one as well. Rutgers at Virginia Tech. Was not able to watch a whole lot of this game, obviously, but from what I can tell, Rutgers' offense is looking pretty dang good, as they could score some points, and they did just that on the road at Virginia Tech. Might I add, at that one, I don't think it was a night game. I think if it was a night game, I think Virginia Tech would have absolutely dominated that game. But Rutgers gets the job done on the road at Virginia Tech, to say the least there. Washington at Northwestern. Northwestern having a total of 5 points. That is absolutely crazy. I'm wondering how they do that. A safety and a field goal, I'm guessing. However, with that being said, they made their Big Ten debut. Will Rogers, the transfer from Mississippi State, looked absolutely phenomenal in this game. The wide receivers for Washington looked phenomenal in this game as well. Coleman, the running back, looked really good as well as they get the job done at home against Northwestern. And what honestly is kind of a warm-up Big Ten Conference game for them. And yeah, they show that they can compete in this Big Ten Conference as well. Iowa at Minnesota, was not able to watch this game at all. However, with that said, Iowa on the road, getting the job done. I thought that game would be a little bit tricky for them, but their defense showing why their defense is really good. And they scored allowed 14 points in this game as well. Michigan State, Boston College. I thought Michigan State was going to win. I did. I thought Michigan State would upset Boston College here on the road. Turns out they did not. Castellanos, again, Bill O'Brien, they are building something over there at BC right now. The Golden Eagles are hot offensively. They can play with anybody right now, as they are now 3-1 on the year and starting the Big Ten Conference play 2-0 right now, first in the Big Ten. And they watch out for them, because they're going to be a very sneaky team, if you're asking me, in that one. Michigan State's got some work to do offensively. They got to find their work. And yeah, that's just how that works. But the final game of the day was Purdue going into Oregon State. This game was phenomenal. It was a great game. Both sides of the ball. Excuse me there for a second. But Purdue, it took them a while. In the fourth quarter, their offense did come alive there towards the end of the game. But obviously, it was not enough. Oregon State holding them defensively. Oregon State, man, they've got to get, they don't have Ollie Gordon. They got to get the run game going for their program as well. I watched a little bit of this game. The running back for Oregon State did not look that great in this performance this weekend. With that said, regardless, they got the job done at home against Purdue in that one. Anyway, of course, that is where I'll go to leave it for today's first video. Once again, if you have not already, be sure to drop a like, subscribe, turn that bell on, as we do our best to post on this channel every single day. With that being said, I'm going to hop off, get this edited, so you guys can watch it on time. Have a great rest of your day, as always. If I do not see you in any of the videos later today, thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.